Hey everyone, welcome back, and let's write some more neat code today. So today let's solve the problem minimize XOR. And this is one of those problems when you actually draw it out. Like at first it seems like a difficult problem, but when you start to actually draw it out and think about it, it becomes pretty straightforward in my opinion. The idea is that we're given two different numbers, so n1, which is 3, and I'll draw it in binary. I think it'll be something like this. And we are also given 5, which I believe in binary will be 4 plus 1. So what we're trying to do here is find some positive integer x, and there's a couple things that we want to follow here. One is that this number x, its binary representation has to have the same number of set bits as n2. So this means that this number here is 5. It looks like it has 2 bits that are set. Thus, whatever number we pick for x, it has to have at most only 2 bits set. And in fact, it has to have exactly 2 bits set. So no more and no less than 2. They could be in any position. Like we could put them like this, but it has to have exactly 2 bits set. Now, the second part here is where exactly we are going to put the bits. We technically can't put them anywhere that we want because what we're trying to do here is minimize the XOR of the number x that we pick XORed with n1 here. So we're trying to minimize this result. The way to interpret this condition here is basically to know that, first of all, what does XOR actually mean? Well, if we pick some number, let's say I pick this number 1100, it has the exact same number of bits as n2. It has 2 bits set, just in different positions. We could have picked any of the positions, but these are the ones that we picked. Now, what we want to do is minimize the XOR of this and this. Well, what does an XOR between these two look like in the first place? Let me just draw the number here, 0011. And now if you XOR each of the spots, basically if they're different, we're going to have a 1 here. If they're the same, we're going to have a 0 in the output. Now these are different in every spot, so we're going to have a 1 in all 4 positions. What we were trying to do is minimize the XOR of these two numbers. Now, as you can see, the fact that they were different made the XOR of them maximal. So the way to have minimized this XOR would have been to have had the same number in this spot. So this is the number that we could have chosen. We could have chosen a 0011 in that spot, and then the XOR of it with that would have been all zeros. So this is kind of the way to interpret this second condition. By making this XOR minimal, what we're trying to do is make x as similar to n1 as possible. If we could, we would literally use the same exact number. We would use 0011 for this example. So why would we not be able to do that? Because in this example, we have this second number, which tells us we need 2 bits, and this number tells us we want it to be as similar to this as possible, which has exactly 2 bits set. So in this case, we can make it exactly like this. Now, what if I change this second number, n2, to be this? If I add a 1 over here, which I believe will make this a 7, now how does that change the problem? Well, I need exactly 3 bits to be set. I want it to be as similar to this number as possible, so I'd like it to be this, but I need 3 bits set, and right now I only have 2 in this number. So I want to set at least 1 more bit, or exactly 1 more bit in this case. So where should I set it? Should I set that bit over here, maybe somewhere further to the left? Well, what we're trying to do is with this number and the number that we pick, we want the XOR to be minimal. So we should probably choose the least significant bit because we know the bits are going to be different in that spot. And thus the resulting bit is going to be different in that spot. So we should probably set the least significant bit in this position. So our starting point for x will be n1, which is this, and we count that there's 2 bits here, but there are 3 bits in the target, or like the number that tells us how many bits we need, and thus we will find in this number the least significant position with an unset bit and then set that bit. And we will just do it one time because we only needed one extra bit. But you can imagine if this had 4 bits set, well, then we would have done the 2 next bits. And the opposite could also be true. So for example, we could have a number here which has, let's say, 4 zeros. That tells us that our X number should have 0 bits that are set. And to make it more interesting, I guess I could say a 1 bit set, in which case we know that our output has to have 1 bit set. We want it to be as similar to this as possible. So what do? Do we make our number to be 0001 or do we make it to be 0010? We definitely want to pick either this bit or this bit. Well, which of these is going to result in a minimal XOR? Well, once again, we can consider our starting point to be N1 itself. So we have this number 011, but we only want 1 bit to be set. So we have to unset a bit from this number here. But which bit do we choose? Well, we should choose the least significant bit once again. Before we were adding a bit, now we are removing a bit, but once again, we are going to do the least significant bit because by changing this bit, we are making it different from what the original number was, which was 0011. And basically, we're going to set that bit in the output when you actually XOR the numbers now, because now that they're different here, this is going to be a 1 in that spot, whereas it would have been a 0 before. These things are not too difficult to handle in terms of code, as long as you know kind of the main bit shift operations. I think the rest I can probably cover in the code, so let's jump into that. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is implement a helper function, which is going to count the number of bits given some integer n, which I believe is actually its own Leetcode problem. I think that's a Leetcode easy. And yeah, I think if you go to my Leetcode 150 list, it actually is one of the fundamental bit manipulation problems. So if you're a beginner to bit manipulation, I definitely recommend checking out these problems. Counting bits here is a very good one. And that's basically what I'm going to be implementing right now, or at least an easier version of it. So first, let me actually show you how this is going to be used. We want to count the number of bits for num1 and also for num2, because based on that is how we're going to implement the rest of this function. So that will give us some variables, which I want to call count1 and count2. So this function here, I'm going to have result, which is going to be the number of bits. That's what we're going to return. And then we can say while the number is greater than 0, we want to get the bit, and then we want to take the number and then shift it to the right by 1. So what this is doing, imagine if I have a number like this, I want to get this bit, and then this line here is just going to take everything here and then shift it to the right. So pretty much like removing that last digit. Now, in order to get this bit here, we can just do the bitwise AND with the number 1. This will basically give us a 0 for everything in the output for all these spots, but this one will be compared here. If they're both 1, we'll get a 1 in the output. Otherwise, we'll get a 0. That tells us what this bit is. So we can do 1 ANDed with n. And so the result of this is what we want to add to this. This will either be 1 or 0, so that will tell us if the bit was 1 or 0. So now that we've implemented this part, I'm going to have 2 different loops down here, which I'm going to combine, but I don't think the combining is really the important part. So we're going to start with a number x. I'm going to make my starting point to be the first number 1 because we want it to be similar to this number. And so x is what we're going to end up returning. So first, I'm going to have a loop. 1 is where we are removing the least significant bits. And then the other is where we're adding the least significant bits. So we would be removing if the count1 was bigger than count2. We have extra bits in num1, which is what our starting point is. So we want to remove from that. So we only want to remove the least significant bits that are actually set. So how do we know if a bit is set? Well, we look at x. So with that, it kind of works similar to what we have here, but we are going to do, well, I guess we're going to keep track of which position we're at. So I'm going to have I to do that. So I have my I pointer, which is 0 right now. So that's the bit that we're going to look at. So on each iteration of this loop, we're going to increment I by 1. So to check, we're going to say this 1 shifted to the left by I. So ANDed with the number x. This tells us that the bit is set. So this will evaluate to true if the ith bit is set in X, in which case we would decrement the count of 1. That tells us how many bits are set in the first number. And then if we're removing 1, we can decrement that. But also we want to untoggle the bit in X, and that's the more important part. So here, X, how can we unset a bit? Setting a bit is as easy as ANDing. Well, unsetting it can be done with the exclusive OR. We take the number itself and then exclusive OR it with 1 shifted to the left by I. Because either that position will already be set, which will make it a 1, which will mean we are unsetting the bit. 1 XORed with 1 is 0. Otherwise, it's not set, and that isn't really possible because we already verified that it actually is set with this condition. Now, the good thing is that adding least significant bits is pretty similar. So I'm actually just going to copy and paste this and flip the condition around because now count 2 should be greater. So we are adding significant bits. So we will be incrementing the count. And so here, if the bit is set is not what we're looking for, we're actually looking for unset bits. So if this is actually equal to 0, so if the bit is not set, then we want to set that bit. So here, instead of doing XOR, we can actually do the OR operator. So this is actually the entire code. Let me run it just to make sure it works. And yes, here on the left, you can see that it does. And I might as well combine this loop because it's easy enough. So the trivial way to do it is just to check that these are unequal, and then you can move one of the conditions into the other. But I think even the conditions themselves are kind of dependent. So what I'm going to do is add the condition here if count 1 is less than count 2, and that's the case. And the other one is the opposite, where count 2 is bigger than count 1. So that's kind of a very minor change. I don't think it's really necessary. There's probably other ways to clean this up as well. But in terms of time complexity, it mainly comes from the fact that we're counting the bits. So that is going to be proportional to log base 2 of whatever n is, num1 and num2. I assume they're 32-bit integers, so technically this should be constant. But if they were arbitrarily large, this is what the time complexity would be. If you found this helpful, check out Leetcode.io for a lot more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.